Hi, remember me? Zoe Pennebaker Breen, and I'm back with a fantastic show here at Ashawagh, which just so happens to be my show. My show with another fabulous artist, David Demers, aka D-Bar. And David Demers and I are showing here at Ashawagh, and we're really excited to present our new work. So, a collision of our new work. So, here we go. Let's check it out.
Hi, I'm David Demers. I'm an artist and someone who enjoys life. I'm fascinated by the qualities of light and color and movement that are available to me during the creation of a piece. All these elements are extremely important factors in determining the amount of energy that a piece will have. It's my goal to create work that is profound and positive and interesting to look at, but doesn't take up too much psychic or emotional space. My work is deeply influenced by water. So if you're interested, my blog is demersart.com. Thanks.
I am a mother of 2 young boys, juggling my passion for painting with my passion for parenting. My paintings are mostly abstract because I love the freedom it allows me to create from my subconscious. My paintings come from an emotional reservoir as much as from a visual source. My motto when entering my studio is see what happens, because I never know where my paintings will take me, and I don't want expectations to limit me in any way. I use visual balance and colors to guide me through the creative process, and some good old-fashioned luck to make the magic happen. I am happiest when I have paint on my hands and feet because it means I've been working hard and doing what I love. I am self-taught, so I'm constantly experimenting with new ideas. My hope is that my paintings are felt as much as viewed. So here we are, the artists. And I'm here with David Demers, the other artist, and aka D-Bar. I'm going to call you D-Bar.
That's fine.
Hey, D.
Hey,
Bar.
how are you?
Good. What do you think? Here we go.
Very excited to be here with you and collaborating on a show. We hung it yesterday, and I think it looks great. I'm really happy. Some nice people have come, and not just for the beer.
Yes.
And the work looks great. I'm really happy to be here. Yeah, we did a good job.
And it's great to be at Ashawagh, right?
Really a great place. Yeah, great
space to show.
Great space.
Okay, so I want to talk about your work because right now we're standing in front of an amazing painting.
Thanks.
What is your medium? Like, what is your medium? How do you?
This is oil on canvas, and lots of layers. And
you layer it up without giving too many secrets. So you layer it up. That's
I layer it up. I pile it on, and so some of the bottom colors show through. And I use a little bit of varnish as a medium, so that gives it kind of a glossy effect. And,
I like that glossy effect. It's
Thank
really
you.
nice. Now, the work that you have here, a lot of the work you have here is really, you have smaller pieces, but like this piece is big.
Yeah,
big
this is a big piece. I had a big space.
Oh, you had a big space.
Yeah, I was in Los Angeles. I was really fortunate to have a huge studio space there.
Wow.
And it was very affordable and lots of light, so I could work big. But yeah, I was happy I could crank it.
Are you a messy artist or are you a neat artist?
I go long spells of neat and then mess, and then I clean up my mess, and you know.
So is there any planning process before you do one of these paintings?
No, there's not much of a planning process. There's more of a kind of a mood that I try to get into, you know, just being very positive and working with colors that I like, and then slowly the painting will take shape, and then, you know, and then I work with what it's doing.
D-Bar, I have to say, I love your colors.
Thank you.
I think you use great colors, and then you throw in just like a slice of this most perfect pop color.
Thanks.
And I just think it's beautiful.
You too. Beautiful colors, beautiful paintings. Happy to be here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So you have a style.
Yeah.
Tell me about that style. Is that a new style? Is that something that just kind of happened? Where did that come from?
I think my style is sort of loosely based on what I do with watercolors, which is a lot of kind of layering and a lot of letting the water and the ink do what it's going to do, and kind of editing as I go along. So with oils, I'll layer and layer and save things that I like, and those will kind of shine through, and then I'll just layer on top of it and just like leave little bits that I like. So it's mostly kind of like letting it flow and then editing. So.
Wow. And then there's another interesting thing about your paintings. You use titanium frames for the canvases. And can you talk about that?
Yeah, they're very light and they never warp and they're easy to move. And yeah, kind of happy that I don't have to lug around big heavy wooden frames anymore.
Yeah, I've actually lifted some of these. These are amazing. Yeah. And I love that they don't warp because we live in Warpville.
Yeah.
The humidity here is just crazy. So that's a really nice addition.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I like the extra thick frame.
Thanks. I really like a lot of graffiti that I see, and this is sort of just vaguely influenced by graffiti. It's just a nice organic shape that doesn't really mean anything. It's not invasive at all. It's just kind of, it's soft and gentle. It's a simple shape, but it has some power to it. And so I like shapes that are simple, that have power to it, that don't really ask you too much of a question, but you know, are sort of pleasant to look at. But
are you choosing your colors before you start, or do you kind of like just work them in as you're moving through?
I work as I go, and I choose colors, and then they're too bright, so I'll put a darker color on top, and then it's too dark, so I'll put a lighter color, and then sort of some of the edges stay, or some of the colors that are beneath that I've painted, and they come through.
Pow!
Wow!
Tell me about the little bit of blue that you put there.
Yeah, there are many, many, many layers behind that. For me, this is just a kind of like a healing painting. It just has a nice energy, and the blue, sort of a star, sort of just has a nice kind of a feeling to it, and it's kind of built up from what was underneath, and it all sort of led me to this result.
Yeah, your paintings do have a feeling of flames too.
Mm-hmm. I like orange.
There's that flame texture I can see. It's just beautiful.
Thanks.
Okay.
So yeah.
There's another one we want to see.
A lot of really beautiful, vibrant colors, and then they're sort of balanced by, you know, nice kind of softer tones. What do you think of when you paint?
Well, what I do is, my motto is see what happens. So I never plan it, and I think that frees me from any limitations or any expectations. I don't want any expectations. I just want to go in, and some days are fantastic, and I come away like really happy I'm an artist, and then some days are just like messy, covered in paint, and I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm an artist. But you know what? It's all good, and I think that the experience of painting is really exciting to me. So anyway, so with this one I used a medium, and the medium gave it that kind of watery texture, and just like D-Bar was saying, I just layer them up and layer it up, and this was from a series that I did that was like floating squares, and it's like you don't really know where they're placed. There's no horizon line, which makes it harder to balance. For me, when I'm painting, I'm kind of finding balance and moving around and finding that balance in the painting for my eyes. And it's really hard with a painting like this because you have no horizon line. So the tiniest mark can like throw this whole painting off for me. Anyway, what I expect. So it's a harder painting to do, but it's just so exciting when it's there. You're like, oh my God, it happened, and you step back and you're like, I got it, it's done.
It's a really nice composition.
It's exciting.
Really nice balance. You know, it's just very even, and the bright colors balance the darker colors, and it has a lot of depth to it. I really like it.
Yeah, and I think the depth comes from just working it and using that medium to kind of get that. I always use pretty much 1 to 2 brushes for every painting. I don't use a lot of brushes. Saves cleaning, and it blends these colors. I get these really nice, this sense of depth, because I'll get like this kind of ochre color behind, and then I'll kind of jump up with other colors.
Beautiful.
And, this is actually interesting because I was just saying how I used acrylics and the other ones. Recently, I have started using oil, and it's been really exciting, although I have to be super careful because I'm a messy artist. I'm very, very messy, so oil gets everywhere, and that's no good. But anyway, what I liked about this painting is that I'd worked on it for probably like 6 months, and I just kept coming in while I was working another painting. I kept coming in, kind of layering it and layering it and layering it. And I mean, underneath it was just an acrylic painting. It was a lot of this. And then I just layered and layered and layered and layered and layered.
I love these subtle tones right in here.
Yeah,
violets and darker blues and grays.
And then what I did was I used oils, and then once the oil dried, I could like layer some acrylic over it, so it gave it like a different texture, and it was softer, harder. And then I love the oils because the vibrancy of the colors is just so amazing. So you can kind of use acrylics and then just give a really good pop color with the oils, and I think that it's fun. And I love gritty. Like, I think it's almost like, I love when there's stuff coming off
this
paintings.
This guy just kind of popped out at the last second. That's great.
I don't know where that Saki came from. But you know what happens? Like, because I use that motto, see what happens, I think that I kind of watch a painting and see what's happening, and then let the painting kind of tell me the story. And I just kind of follow. So if I see a dog coming up, I'll say, oh wow, I'm going with the dog. And if the dog keeps coming and I work it in, it's great. So I like the freedom that allows me.
You know, I just kind of like the interplay between very basic shapes and, and just kind of a subtle tension. These, again, are some of the bottom colors that come up, some of the first colors that I painted. And I don't know what to say about that one.
Have you ever used the oil pastels?
I use oil pastels. They're super messy.
They're super messy, but they give you that great control, right?
Yeah, they do.
It's nice. And the gloss, is that what do you put on you said you put something to give it that nice glossy look?
Yes, yeah. I used a varnish for like a finishing varnish.
Now, do you start with a pencil or anything to get like a...
No, I really don't. I really just kind of take colors that I like and I make forms, and then the forms change, and there are forms that are underneath, and there are a lot of stuff is happening underneath, and then I'll like a shape, and I'll kind of start saving the shape, and I'll start trying to save some of the outlines of what's underneath it, and then I have to work and make sure that the colors all sort of work together. And
they're also like maps in a lot of ways. They have a map feeling to them. Do you hear that?
I was a map maker in former life.
This is showing. This is coming through. Like aerial view.
Yeah.
Yeah. This one's nice. Do you have a name for this one?
I would like to live on someday.
Yes. Those are
Bahamas.
Come visit you. We can paint.
Deal.
This is called Hook Pond. I do a lot of walks with my dogs in Hook Pond, and again, I painted this outside, and I think sometimes that makes a difference in how you're seeing a painting, that light. And I used a medium with this, and I painted 3 paintings at the time, and I love all 3 of the paintings that I painted at that time, so it was a really lucky day. And again, I think this is like from this whole, there's sort of a horizon, but you're losing it, and it's floating, and you're not sure what's happening in it. And I love seeing rust. I think rust to me is fascinating. I don't know why. It just can be beautiful, like on a white door, rust.
Earthy.
Yeah, I love it. And I think that I remember kind of seeing that, and I don't know if that came through, and that's why I was kind of using this ochre, but getting that rusty door image kept coming in. But yeah, this is Hook Pond or something out here. So
really great. It really makes you just, your vision just, you can escape into the painting. It doesn't really trap you, just sort of, your gaze just sort of goes all around it and then just, into it. It's really nice.
And I love this shape, this size. This shape is my favorite. If I do squares, I have a hard time with square. Square will make me pull my hair out. I've done square and they work, but something about balancing a square paint canvas, it makes me cuckoo. This, I don't know, I like this in 48 by 60. I really get right into it. I can see it, I know what's gonna happen. I do some horizontal, but I just love this vertical, 48 by 72. I dig it. And then also, I'm just going to say that this is my signature. I don't like signing my paintings. I feel like my signature would ruin a painting. If you saw my signature, you would agree. So I just kind of, somebody once said, my name, Zoe, has 2 dots over the E, and someone's like, you should just do 2 dots on the painting. And it's sort of turned into like paw prints. Sometimes they're upside down, sometimes they're all around, but that's my signatures. This one I just did recently, and I really, really like this one. I mean, I can say that, right? That I liked my work? Yes. Okay, so this one I did acrylic paint, and then I used oil over, and I really gave it that pop. So this is all acrylic, and then I just gave it that oil. And I love the idea of this being the dinner table. I mean, I want people to see what they want, but I suddenly love the idea after I painted it, like the idea of this being a dinner table. And, dinner for 4. It was just like, sometimes dinner tables can be crazy and wild, and this was, kind of made me feel. And I just love how the brightness, and I was really digging this, using the light, the tan with the white, and them accenting each other, and then covering up like D-Bar kind of does, where you put something and then you cover it up, what's behind there, and that one. This is a brand new one. I'm lucky it's dry. Some of my other ones are not dry. We'll get to that later.
And so how do you do that? Is that a pencil, or is that's really nice?
My son had a bunch of these pencils that you use to sketch. Do you know those pencils that you like unwrap? They actually make you crazy.
It's like charcoal.
They make you crazy.
Oh no, yeah.
Because you have to try and unwrap, and it's like, But I grabbed one and I went into the studio and I was like, wow, I wonder what would happen. And that's really the fun part, is when you still say that to yourself. I wonder what would happen, and you go for it, And I think that that's the best part about being an artist.
China marker was, right?
Yes, China marker.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah, so that's what that is. This is really oil. I mean, I used a little bit of acrylic on this painting, but it's a lot of oil. And recently I've kind of been getting into a figurative style. I've been adding people into my paintings, and this is called Channeling Angels. It has a real kind of angelic feel, like you don't know what's happening in it. I don't even know what's happening in it, but it was really, really fun because, so let's see, I started with him, he came first, and it was just like, I was just like outer mark lines, it wasn't filled in, and then all of a sudden I just saw a face here, and I just went with that and gave her kind of her little nice figure there, and then I had some loop-de-loops here, honestly, and I said, well, that could be her, a woman looking down, and then there's a little heart here, and so I wish I could tell you what it meant, and I think that it's for the viewers to interpret what they see in it, but it was a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun I started abstract, so to go into doing figures has been really, really fun, and I don't look at people or books. I just close my eyes, and if I want to draw an arm, I just think of an arm. Think of an arm. If I try too hard, I mess up. If I just let go and say, think of an arm, and feel the arm, it can kind of come through a little bit. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's sort of what I do. D, this is one of my faves.
Well, thanks. You know, I really like this painting. We moved to Los Angeles, and there was no furniture in the apartment, no couches, no tables, no nothing, and I had basically the apartment that was going to be our apartment was my studio for 2 months. So I ordered this huge canvas and had a lot of ventilation and no distractions, and I was able to work on it there and kind of sleep by it and
surprise your beautiful wife.
Yeah, and surprise her when she came back from Chile.
I heard that story. That was nice.
Yeah, it was really.
I'd be surprised. This is amazing.
Well, it was nice for me to focus on. And again, there's layering. So this beige is affected by the green that's underneath it. It's more of a greenish beige, and the orange. There's a lot of paintings underneath, and then.
How do you keep a steady hand? I mean, it really looks like you would requires a steady.
Stop drinking.
Part of it.
Well, it's interesting that you say that because I'm not actually painting the lines. I'm actually painting everything. But the lines.
And you're going around? That's so interesting.
Yeah, so I'm going around and around the lines. Yeah, around and around the lines.
Now, do you paint them upright or lying flat?
That's a good question. Let me see. This one I painted upright. But sometimes in the beginning stages, I'll lay them flat, and that way I can just be a little bit more expressive and not be sort of, not have to worry about the oil dripping onto the floor.
And then you lean it up. And then do you have lift it up a little higher, or do you have it leaning up against the floor?
No, you're right. That's a good question. I put it on a box.
Box, so you get.
There was absolutely nothing in the place. I had just a sleeping bag and this thing and some toxic oil paint.
There you go. That's all you need.
Yeah.
I mean, then you came up with this. God.
Yeah, it was nice.
Great.
It's got a nice feeling to it. It's sort of an LA kind of feeling, I guess.
I get that too. The LA.
It's very
summer.
Summer.
Or even any season. I mean, any season.
Hot. It's a cooling effect.
And this feels like a puzzle or a map a little bit, but it's so gentle. It's like a great, it's just, it's so
Some
soothing.
People say it looks like camouflage. I could see that.
So that you're finding that kind of soothing feeling.
I'm trying to paint it. Yeah, I'm trying to deliver it to people. Yeah. Trying to make something that relaxes people, something that they can look at and they can meditate, and they don't have absolutely an image that sticks out and tells them what to see, but something that they can sort of drift away looking at and come up with their own ideas about what it might be and just relax.
Yeah, because certain paintings require certain spaces. I know that some of mine are jarring, and some are softer. And like if I have put like a jarring one in my mom's house, and she was
None of them are jarring.
You can't put this in my bedroom. I love it. I want it downstairs, but not in the bedroom. It's like waking me up. I'm staring at it. It's like a cup of coffee. So, I mean, there's an energy to some of them, right?
Yeah,
but yours definitely have a soothing and a cup of tea as opposed to coffee.
Yes. Yeah.
Herbal tea.
Yeah. I'd like to talk a little bit about this one. I hear that it's still wet.
It is still wet.
And it's
no
also
touchy, no
touchy. I hear it's figurative. And is this kind of a new avenue for you?
Well, you know, I was kind of going towards doing figures as kind of a theme, women, figures, and this one started out as just an outline of a boy or figure, and I wish I could show you a picture, but it just was very basic, and I kind of like the simplicity of it. But as the weeks went by and I kind of looked at it, I would just add a little more, and then I put them away for a good 2 months, and then I brought him back down, and I just started adding this kind of thick white and this yellow coming through, and then see, this is how it used to be. See, underneath it was all that, he was all that color. So then when I took the yellow and kind of added that on top, I love that.
Yeah,
I love that feeling of like you can see the old underneath and the new on top, and then the jeans, I knew the jeans were, you know, I had to work those jeans. It was hard to get those jeans.
It's very powerful. It's like he's stepping through,
Yeah,
you know,
this
through
energy.
through an energy field. It looks like maybe the little prince or an angel or
Yeah.
something like that. It's really, really
Thank
powerful.
you.
Yeah, this is
A lot.
really nice here. I like that.
It was a lot of fun, and I even scraped some of it, which I really kind of liked, that scraping look. And you know, I mean, it's just one of those times where you just see what happens, you just go with it. And it's scary to kind of keep trying things because you don't want to ruin it,
Yeah.
but you got to be brave. And I guess that's just what, you know, that's the thing you do. You just have to be brave and take chances, and sometimes they work out really well, and sometimes you ruin a painting, right?
Do you ruin a lot? Do you ruin a lot?
You know
of
what,
paintings?
yeah, not a lot, but
Yeah.
a lot of times when I take chances, they come
painful.
through. It's painful. Like, I'll show you that I have this one with the dancer, and she was so different before, and I changed one thing on her, and it was like the next 2 months I was working on this woman and her figure, and I was just like ready to go crazy. And do I like her? Did I like her better before? Maybe, but you know what? I'm happy that I got. She came through again, and is a painting. So it's hard. Yeah, you do ruin. Do you ruin some?
A lot. Sometimes I get going,
Yeah.
and I get going, and I'm not satisfied, and there's something that is wrong, and I go to fix it, and then just destroy the whole painting, cover it. You know, just cover with paint, and then it becomes like a mud bath, and I'm finished, and I throw it out, and I'm totally depressed.
Totally depressed.
Yeah, for like 2 days.
Nobody understands an artist. This is hard. It's hard to be an
Yeah,
artist. No,
it
it's
is
hard.
hard.
You really get upset
It
when
is
you
hard.
ruin a painting.
Yeah.
Even at night, like I'm so bummed. And do you find it hard? I mean, you have a daughter, and I have children. Is it
There
hard
she
when
is.
they need you and you have to get away from a painting?
Yeah, it
Do you find
is.
that
I mean,
hard?
it's a distraction, especially if you're deep into a painting. It's hard to deal with, but it's just one of those things that you have to do. You know,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
have 2 sons, and
Yeah.
and
It's
they need
hard,
your
right?
attention, and you're working very hard, and you're in a crucial stage, and
Yeah.
and I get very very intense, you know.
You get very focused.
I'm
I saw
very
you hanging.
focused.
You're focused.
Well, you too. I mean, and it's hard to kind of
Yeah,
break out of that
it
work
is.
mode into like.
Because that painting wants to get finished. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like that painting, you're in this
Yeah.
momentum, you come back, you don't know what's going to happen later. Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. It's hard to stop, but sometimes you gotta. And then sometimes it's good you stopped, right?
Sometimes it is good to stop, and you go back to your painting, you're like, oh my God, look what I did,
needed
it's
that
fantastic,
break.
I like
needed
it.
that, but it's so painful when you
Yeah.
mess it up. I know that pain. Now, what do you think about light when you're painting? Do you like real light? Do you like ambient light? Do you like?
I like real light, always. But sometimes the need to paint is so strong that I'll paint at night,
You
under
will.
light, so I'll have to do it, you know.
And then you'll come the next day and you'll see how.
And the colors are totally different.
Totally different.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah.
But no, I like natural light. But you know, sometimes you have to paint on a cloudy day or at night. You just have to do it, and so you wake up in the morning, the result is like.
Although I have had some lucky surprises. I couldn't get a painting, and it was getting dark, and I had to cook dinner and come back, and it was after the kids had gone to sleep. I came back down, and it was very dark, and the fact that it was dark, I just kind of felt my way through that painting,
Yeah.
and it worked.
That's interesting.
I know, it was really
Yeah.
interesting, and sometimes that's how I get my figures. I don't
like that. Just stick to big, basic shapes. 'cause
just
you can't
lose
see.
yourself.
Yeah,
Don't be
I
so
agree.
like,
I agree,
like just
totally.
lose myself. And that's what I kind of do with the women too. Sometimes it'll kill me, like this, like getting that right.
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes a lot of times I don't look at any figures. I just kind of let it go and feel
Mm-hmm.
the arm or feel the hair, and it can kind of come through. But yeah, letting go is important. Sometimes we go too intense, right?
Yeah,
and you
yeah.
gotta like step back. Anyway, so that's the boy with blue jeans. And then we have something behind us here. I love this one, so soft and gentle. Yet there's vibrancy around here. The little hint is really nice. And the colors in this one are these colors together are just incredible.
Yeah, this is a lot more relaxed and playful, I guess, and more colorful than my other. It's not quite as like dark and intense as some of the ones that I liked it. I didn't want to go any further with it because I was going to mess it up, so I stuck with it, and I like it.
Yeah, tell me about frames. You paint a lot of your frames when you put them on.
This time I just thought the gray would work really well with some of the paintings, and so I bought the wood in bulk and then painted it like a neutral gray, and it really makes the colors pop. And then so I took them in to be framed, and somebody said, well, that's very Matisse-like. Matisse used to do that. He used to paint his frames gray because it really made the colors pop.
This one is called The Crown, and so I have a whole series of women, and I started using, this is when I first started using acrylics, and I was using these acrylic pastels, and it gave me that ability to just draw figures really precisely. I mean, not precisely, but I could really get a figure in. And then I mixed in acrylics to give it kind of a different texture, and I just loved the feeling that this woman just feels. She's just happy and feels beautiful, you know, and I just wanted that to come through, is how beautiful she feels. And in all this theme, for some reason I kept painting crowns. I mean, they kept coming through, and they're different sizes and different colors, but I don't know why. I don't know whether it's power, I don't know whether it's strength, I don't know what it is, but I loved this little spot here, this little blue that I kept there with the red, these colors together. I mean, I love like the little spots in my paintings. Like, I like to look like a little, like I could take a photo of little spots in my paintings, and I like that. But yeah, I like these two colors together was nice, and that she's just enveloped in this her own world. This is one that I was talking about that was very different. It was a woman, and she was standing in front of kind of a city background, and I used graffiti paints, spray paints, and it had a graffiti feel. And I changed one thing on her hair, and the next thing I knew, I was knee deep and messed up my painting. I messed up my painting. So it was a long trek back, but I'm really happy with how she turned out, because now she has this blue that I use. There's this crowd. She has an audience she's dancing for, but I wanted that audience to be kind of ambiguous. You weren't sure, but and then her stockings and her shoes kind of came through well, and her hair moving, and that tush took me a lot of sweat there. It was not easy for some reason. It kept getting me. Sometimes the figures are easier. Sometimes they just come right out, and you're like, oh my God, it just came right out. And sometimes you struggle a little bit, but I was really happy with how she turned out. I feel like you could feel her moving and her energy, and then this kind of what's going on in here. So, the dancer. I call this one Commuter, but I didn't know what I was painting at the time, but afterwards I looked at it and I was like, actually, this is my commute to bring my boys to school if you were looking from up in the air. So that was kind of fun. But I really like this one. This is a new one, and this is the acrylic with oil on top, and I kind of like, the same way D-Bar does, I lay it down and get the paint really moving, whether I'm using medium on it, and get that color all over it, and then I kind of lean it up and just start working it, and finding that balance and finding that painting, and then it just kind of pops. And then I used those pencils again on this one. You could see up top, and some of them scraped in and some of them scraped out, and it was just all about balance, finding that balance. But I really like the way this one feels. I put it in my dining room just to kind of, I'll do that after I finish painting them. I'll put them around my house so they surprise me and I can see it. Oh, walk in, oh, there it is, and you can kind of like have a different perspective. And I was really happy when I saw this one. It made me really happy. So I like the way this one feels. So that's our show. Thank you so much for joining me here at Ashawagh Hall. I had so much fun showing you my paintings and talking to D-Bar and having him talk. It was nice to hear what he had to say. I love listening to other artists and hear what their experiences are. I think it's so informative to me as an artist, and just informative. It's really fun to hear. Ashawagh is a great place to show our work, and I hope you enjoyed this collision.